or something that they're allowing to participate in, or something like to confuse them. Like I was on Bill's podcast and I remember like he goes, we talked about like self-censorship. What are the things that you know are true, but you don't say? And he's like, give me an example. And I'm like, trans is nuts. Like that whole idea of that is fucking nuts because it affects children who don't understand anything about this.
Right.
And immediately, like within 1 or 2 phone calls, you're on puberty blockers. Like you can't undo that. Once you ring that bell, you can't unring it.
Right.
And they tell you that like, if you start a puberty blocker and then you decide you want to get off of it, everything's fine. It's not. Like the freight train of time is happening.
Right.
If you stunt that, you're all fucked up. Right. And then you add on top of that, if you feel like you're in the wrong body, you're probably sad, right? Because you're not in the right body. So if the parent is going to allow their kid to be on puberty blockers, they're also going to let them allowed to be on the anti-anxiety drugs, the depression drugs, whatever drugs have to counteract the effects of whatever puberty blockers that are on. So now you have like this kid that's in this a poisonous fog of not knowing who they are, what they are, and these medicines confuse them even more. Then they go to see therapists who, in my estimation, are all a bunch of high school kids who wanted to figure out what the fuck was wrong with them. They went to school for therapy, never figured it out, and now they're out giving terrible fucking advice to people because it makes them feel good. It's not appropriate. So that's that in like a nutshell, which is why I get crazy about it, because like you're literally sterilizing and butchering children.
Yeah.
And in 500 years, like we're going to look back at that as like the Aztecs. It's like, they sacrificed kids for the rain god. Isn't that fucking weird? Those people were savages. And then you cut to today and it's like, we need to kill people because of the climate. And you're like, we have not advanced as a people.
Yeah.
Like we look at each other as like we're like this high bar, and it's like we're so advanced and we understand people so much, and it's not, man. Everything always boils down to those common things that animals do, and they behave in certain. You don't see not a lot of gay. Well, unless you talk to Alex Jones, there's a lot of gay frogs, but then you find out that's real.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're putting astrazine in the fucking water, and it makes the fucking frogs hermaphroditic. You're like, what? This guy was right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a real problem in the trans industry. It has now become an industry.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money to be made. And the trans surgeries, if you had to get a knee replacement, there is a protocol, right? Probably something that like, if you go to Atlanta, Chicago, Scranton, fucking Houston, it's probably the same procedure. What to do. There is no guidelines for trans. They're just doing it ad hoc, and no one's holding their feet to the fire. Nobody from the medical establishment is going like, now how'd you turn that pee-pee inside out? And did you do it the right way? And why are you cutting off the forearms of these kids of the skin? And why is it that like male to female, you can now like, do you know how that works? This is going to get real dark. But
so again, I don't know enough to like,
there's a ceramic pump. Right. So basically what they do with the penis is they make an opening that's a wound. And every day you have to inflate this ceramic thing so that the wound does not close.
Okay.
That seems torture to me.
Right.
Instead of going like, you got a dick, move on.
Yeah.
I think it's the height of insanity, and it's being brought down from up high from these people who are like academics and scholars, and what would you rather have, a trans kid or a dead kid? That is a terrible value arrangement to make, because that's not what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Let them go through puberty; they'll be fine.
Yeah. I don't know enough about it. I feel strongly that we're introducing the concept far too early.
Can't do it.
It just
now as